Relieve post-surgery pain and swelling with the Donjoy Iceman Classic3. This video will walk you through setup, usage, and maintenance for a seamless recovery. Let's dive right in. Now that you've received your Donjoy Iceman Classic3 cooler, we need to make sure that everything you ordered is here. So, first thing, check the label on your cooler to make sure that you did in fact receive the correct cooler. Once you've done that, we need to go ahead and open the box. So we're going to cut along the tape in the front, cut in the back, and then cut along the middle. As you can see, I like to raise it up a little bit. Even though Donjoy boxes do have this added protection here, it's always a good idea to just raise it up a little bit when you're cutting it, just in case the pad should be there and you don't want to cut into the pad. So once you get it open, the first thing you should see is a skin warning. This just serves as a reminder to never put the pads directly on your skin, and you should always have a barrier in place. Once you get through that, you should find a pad if you ordered a pad with your cooler. Now, before you open the sealed bag on the pad, please make sure that it is the correct pad that you ordered, because once this sealed bag is open, the pad is not returnable. So double check that it's the correct pad before you open it. Once you've done that, go ahead and take out this top layer here, and then you can remove the cooler from the box. Now, once you pull the cooler out, go ahead and open the lid. Inside, you should find the instructions that tell you how to use your system. Also, you should find the power supply. For the Donjoy Iceman Classic3, it is a 12-volt power supply. It's a little bit different from the Clear 3. Once you've confirmed that everything you ordered is here, you're ready to set it up and begin your therapy. Now we're going to show you how to set up your Donjoy Iceman Classic3 to get it ready for use. So to start with, you're going to want to use some type of ice. You can use freezer bags, ice cubes, or frozen water bottles. If you do choose to use frozen water bottles, make sure you remove all of the label and glue before placing it inside the system so that it doesn't deteriorate and get caught inside your cooler. We do sell freezer bags, and they are pretty convenient to use. The freezer bags, you fill them, you freeze them, and they make blocks of ice, and you can put 3 to 4 at a time in the cooler. Now, if you do get the freezer bags, you'll see that they have a water fill line. Only fill them to that line, because once they freeze, they will expand. Then once you do that, you put them in the freezer, and then you can use them inside the cooler. Now, if you do want it to get colder quicker, you can throw some ice cubes on top of the freezer bags. So today, we're just going to use our freezer bags. So you're going to want to remove the lid. All right, so we're going to place our freezer bags inside the cooler. Once you've gotten them inside the cooler, you can go ahead and add your water. Now, when you add your water to the cooler, you will see on the top here, it shows a max fill line. Don't fill the water beyond that line. That is the limit in which you need to put your water. Once you've got your water in there, go ahead and replace the lid on the cooler. Lock it into place, and now you're ready to begin your therapy. Today we're going to show you how to apply the Donjoy Iceman Universal Pad. This is the same application for the Universal XL, and the Universal XL with extended hose. Also, this pad can be used on multiple areas. Today we're going to apply it to the knee, but you can also use it for the hip or the shoulder. Now we have our straps already attached, so we're going to place it on the knee, and you're going to bring around the top strap. Bring it around, get it secured in place. Then you're ready to bring around your bottom strap. Once you've got that secure, you're going to connect the hose from the pad to the hose from the cooler. When you hear that click, that lets you know it's secure. Once you've done that, go ahead, plug in your power supply to the back of the cooler, plug it into the wall, and then you're ready to begin your therapy.
Quick reminder, if you find the video helpful, please subscribe to our channel or think about giving us a like. It's a simple, free way to support us, and it helps us create content for you. Also, you can purchase the products featured in the video directly from our YouTube store. Now let's get back to the review.
Here's a pro tip. For optimal performance, you want to keep your cooler somewhat level with the body part that you're treating. Now that you've completed your therapy and you're ready to put your system away, we're going to show you the proper steps to drain and clean it. Now, if you're going to use it again, all you really need to do is empty the cooler and wipe down the pad with the Clorox wipe. However, if you're completely done and ready to store it, we're going to show you the proper steps to do that. So But first thing you want to do is remove either your freezer bags or your frozen water bottles, whichever you were using in the cooler. Go ahead and take those out and drain the water that was inside of the cooler. So we've done that. We've removed our freezer bags. We've drained our water. Make sure you always disconnect your power supply. And we're going to need to sanitize our cooler before we put it away. The way we're going to do that is first we're going to go ahead and fill the cooler back up with water. Now, make sure you only fill your cooler to the fill line listed inside the cooler. And here in the Donjoy Iceman Classic3, it says max at the top. So don't fill your water any more than that. Then once you've got your water in here, you're going to need to add either bleach or vinegar. If you're using bleach, you want to use 1/3 cup. If you're using vinegar, use 1/2 cup. For our cleaning today, we're going to use 1/2 cup of vinegar. So once you've got your 1/2 cup, go ahead, pour it into the water. Then you're going to want to put your lid back on, lock it into place, plug in your power supply, and let it run for about 10 minutes. It's going to circulate through the pad back into the cooler. Now, once you have let it run for 10 minutes, you're ready to drain it and dry it out. So we're going to disconnect the power supply. And before you disconnect your pad from the cooler hose, one little trick to help get some of the water out of the pad is to leave it connected and just kind of hold it up and let the water flow back through the hose into the cooler. That just helps get some of the water out of the pad. Then, once you've done that, go ahead and push this button and disconnect the pad from the cooler hose. Then we're going to take the pad to the sink so we can drain the rest of the water. And what you can do is kind of roll the pad over, kind of like this. That just helps to push the water down towards the hose so we can get as much out as possible. Once you've got it over the sink, push down these end pieces. And as you see when I do that, it's releasing the extra water that was left in the pad. So push those pieces down, drain out as much water as you can. Then we need to go ahead and drain the cooler. So remove the lid, bring it to the sink, and drain out your water. Once you've gotten all of the water out of the cooler, take some paper towels or a dry towel, dry it out real good before you store it, and also take a Clorox wipe and wipe off the pad. Now, you're ready to store your system. Now that you know how to use your Donjoy Iceman Classic3, click on this next video to learn how to apply all the pads for the Donjoy Iceman system. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more recovery tips. Now, let's get back to living.